Namaskar, Hare Krishna. I'm Basu Ghosh, General Secretary of ISKCON India, registered at Bombay by Srila Prabhupada back during 1971. With me today are Krishna Kirti Prabhu and Sridhar Srinivasa Prabhu. Krishna Kirti Prabhu is the convener of the IISB, ISKCON India Scholars Board. He holds a master's degree in statistics. Recently, the Scholars Board entered into a dialogue with the King of Puri and his scholars upon the King's request on the issue of the dates of the Jagannath Snan Yatra and Rath Yatra. There was a meeting in Bhubaneswar at the end of March, third week of March, and the scholars, our ISKCON India Scholars Board scholars, presented 7 papers to the SJTA, Sri Jagannath Temple Administration scholars, and the dialogue is ongoing. Sridhar Srinivasa Prabhu is an author of 2 books. The one book, Female Diksha Gurus, Do We Need Them? Has recently been added to the Veda base, Srila Prabhupada Veda base, and Divine Prophecy of the Alvars, predicting the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now that the introductions are out of the way, I just will begin today's session with a couple quotes from Srila Prabhupada. One was a letter that Prabhupada wrote to the late Professor Fritz Stahl, J.F. Stahl, at UC Berkeley. He was the head of the South Asian Languages Department, who is a scholar of Sanskrit grammar. This was dated January 30th, 1970, so 55 plus years ago. Quote, as the goal of spiritual realization is only one, love of God, so the Vedas stand as a single comprehensive whole in the matter of transcendental understanding. Only the incomplete views of various parties apart from the bona fide Vedic lines of teaching give a rupturous appearance to the Bhagavad Gita. The reconciliative factor adjusting all apparently diverse propositions of the Vedas is the essence of the Veda or Krishna consciousness, love of God. And since actually today's topic is I got to jump ahead here with that quote, but the topic is the victory of Madhu Pandit Das and his Hare Krishna Mission institution at Bangalore in the property dispute case that was pending in the Supreme Court for 14 years. The dispute was the ownership of that Hare Krishna Hill 7-acre plot in Bangalore. And the Karnataka High Court adjudicated in May 2011 that it was a branch of ISKCON registered at Bombay. Madhu Pandit Das, who's the head of that institution, was the general secretary of the ISKCON registered at Bombay 25, 30 years ago, which I am today. And Madhu Pandit Das appealed to the Supreme Court that judgment. And after 14 years, earlier today, the judgment was given in favor of Madhu Pandit Das, that there were actually 2 cases. One case was the society registered by Shankabrit and others in Bangalore, ISKCON of Karnataka, was upheld as a bona fide society. Our ISKCON of Bombay opined in the court that it was a defunct society, it never functioned. And the court upheld that, and it dismissed it upheld the appeal of Madhu Pandit Das. So he won a victory on a property dispute, but he's claiming to have won an ideological victory. Prabhupada has won. And that victory is for the Ritvik system of initiation, which he himself adopted back in 1998 in his Srila Vyas Puja offering to Prabhupada, and where he declared that I'm actually your disciple and not a disciple of your disciple, even though he never met Prabhupada, never saw Prabhupada, never interacted with Prabhupada. So without further ado, I want to read a quote from a purport of Prabhupada's in Srimad Bhagavatam in this connection. And that is, quote, the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj are all God brothers. And although there are some differences of opinion, and although we are not acting conjointly, every one of us is spreading this Krishna consciousness movement according to his own capacity and producing many disciples to spread it all over the world. As far as we are concerned, we have already started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and many thousands of Europeans and Americans have joined this movement. Indeed, it is spreading like wildfire. The cult of Krishna consciousness, based on the 9 principles of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, will never be stopped. It will go on without distinction of caste, creed, color, or country. No one can check it. That's from the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 31. So if Prabhupada and his godbrothers were producing many disciples, and we know that Prabhupada and his godbrothers were giving first and second initiation, as Srila Saraswati Thakur himself did, how is being a Diksha Guru somehow wrong? So the Ritvik system of initiation, well, I'll ask Krishna Kirti Prabhu to speak about that now. Over to Krishna Kirti Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that introduction, and thank you for informing us for all things. Just one thing I want to reiterate is that the court case and the Supreme Court decision, it only was dealt with the property issues. It did not deal with any theological issues. That's what it was about, and that's what it wasn't about. But I just want to note that some of the communications sent by the Hare Krishna movement, in Bangalore, that they've considered that this vindicates their theology. Well, not actually. So one thing I wanted to mention first is that when Srila Prabhupada says that he and his godbrothers are giving initiations, they're making disciples, that we have to take that as it is. So one principle is that an acharya like Prabhupada, he cannot tell lies, he cannot be misdirecting. So it says in the Bhagavatam, Ishvaranam vachaha satyam tataiva charitam vachit. So that means that Ishvaranam vachaha. So so that the words of the Ishwaras are satyam, that they are always true, and sometimes tataiva charitam vachit. So that sometimes their behavior is always true, and because this is Shukadev Goswami speaking, explained to Parikshit Maharaj that the gopis, Krishna dancing with the gopis should not be imitated. Like you can't imitate Lord Shiva drinking an ocean of poison. So the words, you always follow the words. So we have to accept Prabhupada's words here. Now, regarding the initiations, and I think you mentioned at the first of your, you mentioned that dialogue with Professor Stahl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one important point, Prabhupada talked about the rupturous appearance given by unauthorized sampradayas. So a very important principle is, how do you know something's bona fide? Is you can tell is if it's consistent. If the words of the sadhu, the Shastra, and the guru are all consistent, you have the correct idea. You have the correct understanding. So Narottam Das Thakur says that Guru Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittite Koriya Aikya. So that Aikya is the criterion here. Now, in this regard, I want to raise a question about the initiation system within the Ritvik movement, and that is that if Srila Prabhupada only wanted Ritvik initiations and not his disciples and his disciples not to initiate disciples for themselves, does that mean that all the initiations, if the Ritvik system is actually correct, does that mean that all the initiations that all the gurus gave since Prabhupada's departure, does that mean that those initiations were not bona fide? And so if they're not bona fide, then what about Madhu Pandit Prabhu's own initiation from his own guru? My question is, was that a Ritvik initiation, or was his Guru Maharaj actually initiating him as his own disciple? So, what do you think, Sridhar Srinivasa Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Basu Ghosh Prabhu and Krishna Kirti Prabhu, for introducing me. And yes, Basu Ghosh Prabhu, I was also part of that team that went to Jagannath Puri, SGTA, and I'm very much part of the Scholars Board, of which you and Krishna Kirti Prabhu are leading it. So thanks for your all guidance. So Krishna Kirti Prabhu, you are in turn asking me, where did Madhu Pandit Prabhu got this idea of even Ritvikism, in other words? So I'll try to.
Yeah, well, just to make sure I reiterate it, what it seems to boil down to is, if the traditional initiations are disallowed, and he had a traditional initiation, then how is it that he's considered initiated at all? And if he did a Ritvik initiation, and if only the Ritvik initiations are allowed, then did he get an initiation?
Yeah. So yeah, I've been going through this. As Basu Ghosh Prabhu pointed out, Madhu Pandit Prabhu declared himself independent from his Diksha Guru one fine day, and in 1998 during the Prabhupada Vyasa Puja, and declared himself as a Prabhupada disciple. Now, did he get a Ritvik initiation on that day? Then my question is, what was his re-initiated name? Now, let's keep that aside. Prior to 1998, he was a very senior devotee at that time. He was temple president of at least Trivandrum temple, and then he was made as temple president of Bangalore. So that means he was in this movement as an initiate of Jayapatak Swami Maharaj till that time. And all of a sudden, did he came up with this idea on his own? No. Actually, I had written a book, The Final Order, on Ritvikism, which is considered as the Bible for the Ritviks. That's in 1996. So Madhu Pandit got the idea from that book, 1996 book. So Krishnakant Desai is his Siksha Guru. We cannot deny this. This is and then now, who is when did Krishnakant Desai himself got initiated? He neither got initiated by regular Pancharatrika Diksha, nor did he undergo a Ritvik initiation. So here we go. The Siksha Guru is himself a dubious candidate of how did he get initiated. And Madhu Pandit, who is Siksha disciple of Krishnakant, himself is questionable with his initiation. Yata Guru, Tata Sishya. But what I find is that Madhu Pandit is definitely in sync with his Guru. But that Guru is neither Jayapatak Maharaj nor Srila Prabhupada, but Krishnakant Desai. What do you think? So both Krishnakant Desai has a dubious initiation status, and Madhu Pandit's initiation itself is dubious in my.
Well, Krishnakant Desai, who's Madhu Pandit Shiksha Guru, he's not initiated. So how is it? So this is my point about the consistency. How is it that the I guess you can call him the uncle or the godfather of the Ritvik system. How is it that, at least from that point forward,
Yeah.
how is it that he himself cannot even get initiated in his own system?
In other words, where are the roots?
He just can't. He can't. What kind of system is it that
Yes.
you have to get initiated, but you can't even take initiation of the system? It doesn't work. It's inconsistent.
Well, their ideology is that Prabhupada never stopped giving initiations even after he left his body. And we had organized in 1999 in Bangalore at the Pune Pragya Vidyapit, which is a Madhva Sanskrit college, a one-day session on this issue of Vaishnava initiation. And Pejawar Swami, the late Pejawar Vishwesha Tirtha, his guru was present, Vidyamanya Tirtha, who passed away just a year and a half after that. And this was, 1999. It's 26 years ago. So the conclusion was that the guru cannot continue to give initiation after he passes away. No Vaishnav Sampradaya but believes in this kind of an ideology. And the ideology actually came into effect, or it was created by two, I think, Prabhupada disciples, Rupa Vilas and Karanamrita, who was from England. And they had a publication called Vedic Village Review.
Mhm.
And I think it was in 1988 when they came up with this idea that
Yeah.
since there were so many fall downs of ISKCON gurus, that actually Prabhupada is the initiating guru. But our understanding is that Prabhupada, after he disappears, it becomes a previous acharya and a shiksha guru in that sense.
Yeah.
We have the teachings of Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baladev Vidyabhushan, the six Goswamis. They're all previous acharyas. They don't continue to give initiation after they left their bodies.
Right.
And Krishna Kante Sai kind of what I don't know the word exactly to describe, taking the old idea of Rupa Vilas and repackaging it as Prabhupada's final instruction, the final order. And yes, Madhu Pandit Das has hook, line, and sinker to use a Malecha and Yavana expression. He's totally imbibed that. He's totally accepted that outlook. And that's what he's propagating, that it's a great victory for Prabhupada. But it was Prabhupada who registered ISKCON in Bombay. And we believe Prabhupada was legally competent. He wanted a united institution. And Madhu Das doesn't want a united institution. He wants an institution where he's the whole and sole authority, and that's what he has. His desire has been fulfilled by Krishna, but he's claiming that he's fulfilling Prabhupada's desire, and that's nonsense. It's totally wrong.
Well, if you're fulfilling Prabhupada's desire, you're also fulfilling Rupa Goswami's desire. So one thing we see here is that there's what some people do, some devotees do, is they take something Prabhupada said and they run with it, and they interpret it in a way that is really actually against the teachings of our previous acharyas. I call it anti-Rupanuga Prabhupadanugas. That you're doing Prabhupada, but in a way that's also offensive to our acharyas. It's Sadhu Shastra Guru. It's not Guru, Guru, Guru.
I think the totality of Prabhupada's teachings clearly indicate that he was teaching the system of, Guru Shishya Parampara, disciplic succession. And he mentioned it so many times. And they discount it because some disciples of Prabhupada strayed from the path. But many people strayed from the path in the past, which doesn't negate the system of, Guru Shishya Parampara, disciplic succession.
Yeah, that's a topic that we'd like to kind of like jump in depth on another cast. But you're absolutely right. That even in the why is it that Srila Prabhupada, he talks about gurus actually falling down. Actually, what is it? It's just in the case of Bali Maharaj, and he's going. So Srila Prabhupada talks about this. Yeah,
actually, Bali
quotes,
rejected his guru. He rejected his.
He quotes this verse: "Gurur ap avyaliptasya karya karyam ajanataha utpata pratipanasya parityago vidiyate." So, the guru, he's on the wrong path. He's acting in a very bad way, and he doesn't know what is to be done and not to be done, then that guru should be given up. So, in other words, even Vyasadeva anticipates that sometimes gurus actually deviate. And so to come up with a system that doesn't even allow for this, what Vyasadeva himself has allowed for is, that's an inconsistency. In other words, you've actually distanced yourself from Shastra. You've actually come up with a system that's better than what Vyasa's given. We have a saying in the English language, don't be more Catholic than the Pope. So that
many years ago, I asked a Madhva scholar about this Ritvik system of initiation concept. And he said, Manasika Nirmita Vidhi, which means a mental concoction. It's somebody's concocted idea. It's not the Vedic system. And we asked Prabhupada's godbrother about this, the late Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj. Prabhupada wrote that you're practically my only godbrother who's not envious of me. And Prabhupada attended the opening of his ashrams with his Western disciples in Rajamundry and Visakhapatnam back in 1971. And Puri Maharaj left this world in March of 2009. So that's 16 years ago. So Puri Maharaj said that this is Christianity, where there's one person only can save everyone. And they made Prabhupada into a type of Jesus, the Ritvik adherents.
So I just wanted to say one thing, both the, Basu Ghosh Prabhu and Krishna Kirti Prabhu, you both said that there are, like Basu Ghosh Prabhu said, the Madhva scholar clearly said it's a mental concoction. It's got nothing from Shastra. Actually, maybe in the next con or next episode, I would like to talk about, there is a verse that I came across in Pancharatara scriptures that gives a default authorization for a disciple to become the next guru and the Parivrajaka Acharya of the Vaishnava Tantras.
That'll be important.
This is like, there is a Shastric ruling that is totally opposite to what the Ritviks are claiming. In other words, the Ritviks are Ashastriya. By that single couple of verses, we'll go over that probably in the next talk. But I have that.
So I just want to just bring it back to the question about Madhu Pandit Prabhu's initiation. On the one hand, if Prabhupada only wanted Ritvik initiations, then how was his initiation bona fide in the first place? And then second, to recap what Sridhar Srinivasa Prabhu is saying, that if he's not initiated, then how can he be giving any kind of initiations to anybody?
How can he be a Ritvik Acharya even?
How can he be a Ritvik Acharya? He had to get Ritvik initiations from someone, and if his guru didn't give him a Ritvik initiation, then is he really initiated or not? It seems doubtful.
Yeah.
Well, the whole system is a concoction, a mental concoction. So how is it bona fide? That's the question.
Well, yeah, and the other thing with the Shiksha, basically he's now the Shiksha guru of pretty much all the existing Ritvik Vadi Sampradayas, Krishna Kant Desai, Madhu Pandit Shiksha Guru, that he himself can't even take Ritvik initiation. He's never taken he never taken any kind of initiation ever. That's why he only uses his name, his birth name. So the system is completely inconsistent. The founders can't use it.
They're searching for some validity,
Then how are they guru? If they're searching, how are they guru?
They want to validate their ideology, but on what basis do they validate their ideology? On the essay of Krishna Desai, not on Vedic literature. That's the point.
Achar, so following. If he can't teach by example, then how can he be he can't be an acharya in his own system. That's the irony.
So should we bring today's session to a conclusion and have another session?
Yeah, I think so. Would you like to say anything, Sridhar Srinivasa Prabhu? Any we can't hear you. You're muted, Prabhu.
Am I?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. No. Okay. No,
I
just
agree with your.
Okay.
You able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. On what authority Madhu Pandit Prabhu is still carrying that name which was given to him by Jayapatak Swami Maharaj? Under what initiation he is claiming that he is reinitiated by Prabhupada as he declared his independence in 1998, Vyasa Puja offering to Srila Prabhupada? And under what guidance even the Shiksha Guru of Madhu Pandit, Krishna Desai, who dreamed up this ideas without that are ashastriya, he himself is not in a Ritvik system. So they are talking about Ritvik system when they don't have even a Ritvik proper lineage, and they achara prachar, as you said. So this is, I would say, definitely, this is very much doubtful, and they are claiming victory based on court case which is on property. It's not even about
have nothing to do. So that criteria of Aikya, the Sadhu Shastra.
Yeah, the Aikya is not
the Aikya is not there. It is grossly violated.
It's there's no harmony with Shastra. There is no harmony with his own Guru. There is no harmony with his Parama Guru, and there is no harmony with other sampradayas, which is Sadhu. So there is no harmony other than harmony with Krishna Desai.
Yeah, what's that statement from Prabhupada from the Science of Self-Realization? Do you have that with you, Basu Ghosh Prabhu?
The original?
Yeah. Yeah, that one. That sounds like it's worth repeating. Oh.
Excuse me, I'm having a dry throat attack.
Oh dear.
Trying to get my throat together here.
I can read it if you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what Basu Ghosh read at the beginning, this is from Science of Self-Realization with Professor Stahl. Professor Stahl says, quote, no, not Professor Stahl, but Prabhupada says in his letter to Professor Stahl, he says, as the goal of spiritual realization is only one, love of God, so the Vedas stand as a single comprehensive whole in the matter of transcendental understanding. Only the incomplete views of various parties apart from the bona fide Vedic lines of teaching give a rupturous appearance to the Bhagavad Gita. So this is what we have, this just even on the point of initiation, it's, the Ritvik system is totally inconsistent. We don't have that problem. We may have other problems, but we do not have that problem. And that's a huge problem.
Shastra Sadhu Guru Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya. Prabhupada has reiterated this several times. The famous purport, Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.352. Any Vakya which is not aligned with Shastra Vakya must be rejected. So Madhu Pandit, his claim is not in alignment with Shastra Vakya, and I question the validity.
So can I conclude?
Yeah, you please have the last word.
So thank you both. Excuse me for forgetting that Sridhar Srinivasa is part of our IISB scholars in the introduction. Thank you for reminding me. And we have like 25 scholars now, right, Krishna Kirti Prabhu?
I think, well, we have like 30, we have like more than 30 associates. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Who are part of the IISB.
Yeah.
And I don't know, those who are sincere to know the teachings of Prabhupada have to take it in its totality. His purports are the most important teachings. Then there's his lectures, the conversations, and the letters. So we have this body of Prabhupada's teachings. And Prabhupada warned about concoction. He also was, against the monism of Shankara. He was against the Advaita Bad. He was very strong on these points. So I think we could continue this dialogue on in the aftermath of the Supreme Court verdict, where Madhu Pandit is claiming a victory, ideological victory over ISKCON, when in fact no such thing actually happened. Thank you once again for participating today. And maybe 24, 48 hours from now, we can have another session. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna.